Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Figma Sword Art Online 2 Kirito figure. And this is the packaging, since I know you guys like the packaging. Purple window box, pretty standard Figma for today's figures. We get the black bottom with the turquoise, I think that's a turquoise, number 248, and that's his name in Japanese, Kirito, and it's the GGO for Gun Gale Online licensing. Figure pose, figure poses. Figure pose. That's it for the packaging. Alright, let's look at the figure. He stands roughly 13 and 3/4 centimeters, which makes him about just over 5¼ inches tall. So standard Figma scale for these figures, no problem there. And it's a cool looking figure, but we're going to look at the accessories first, because most of you guys like looking at the accessories first. So you see we have the 2 fist hands that come on the figure in the package, and then we have a tree of other hands. These 2 hands actually come inside a plastic baggie, not on the tree, but there's room on the tree, so I put them on there so you could see. We have the 2 open hands for the style poses. We have the 2 sword holding hands for the sword holding poses. We have the martial arts pose. And then we have the 2 trigger finger hands. So definitely plenty of options there. We have alternate hair because if you haven't seen this version or this season of Sword Art Online, Kirito's avatar is rather androgynous. It looks almost like a girl, and so it's got long hair, and now we have a windswept hair. It's interchangeable. You just swap those out for your action poses. We also have some interchangeable faces. We have the standard face right there, kind of just a smile. Here we have an action pose or a worried face, whichever one you want to do, but probably an action pose. And then this one is more of a worried face, non-action pose, or it could be a nervous face or an embarrassed face, because he does that a lot since he looks like a girl in this game. But still very well done. Absolutely love, love, love. One of the best things the Figma figures have is the nicely detailed eyes. If I can hold my hand steady enough, so well detailed. Love that. Alright, and of course, since it's sword art, we have to have a sword for Kirito, or Kirito, and this is it. It's a lightsaber. Let me zoom back out so you can actually see what we're doing, since that's what we're here for. He's got a faint purple lightsaber, which hopefully it's showing up on camera. It actually is faint purple. It has a little bit of shading in it to go to white, and then it's a nicely detailed handle. Cool thing about this is, if they didn't glue it, the blade comes off, so you can attach the lightsaber hilt to his belt. I haven't tried this yet, so let's see how it works. It's soft plastic, so it should just snap right in. And it works. Very cool. That's awesome. I like that that works out nicely. So you can do that, and not only can you have the deactivated lightsaber, but you can also have this, which is the swoosh effect for swinging the lightsaber. And the good thing about this is it's not nearly as heavy as the original Kirito's swoosh effects. I don't want to break that, so I'll look at that later, but that peg's in there. It's not as heavy, so it'll work much better. You can see it's faded from white to purple, so it has a really nice look to it. And if you really want to, you can take the big swoosh off and just leave the little swoosh on there so it looks like he's maybe just twirling it or something with just a little bit of a fade to it. So that's pretty cool, I think. I like that. And then lastly, we have a pistol, or a pistol, and a muzzle flash. This muzzle flash doesn't have nearly as much white on it. I think Shinon's had a little bit more white. But this one looks cool because it's translucent. It does have some shading for the orange. Nice effect. Nicely sculpted. And the pistol too, even though it's all one color, very nicely sculpted. You can see we even have the little Picatinny rail at the bottom. All the details for the gun. Oh, I guess they did paint it. They painted inside there for where the casing comes out. So it looks good. And the cool thing about this, it goes in here. This holster is actually hollow on the other side, but you can't really see that unless you try to, which of course I did, but you won't see it if you're posing it, so that's fine. The gun fits in there really nicely though, so that's a good thing. Alright, he does also come with the standard Good Smile or Figma display stage and the little baggie and alternate wrist, or not alternate, but replacement wrist piece in case you break one. So you've got all the good stuff. All right, paintwork on this figure. It's minimal. There's not a whole lot going on, but if you look closely, you can see that this gray is different than this gray. Then the belt has 2 different tones. So there's actually a good deal of coloration going on here. It looks pretty nice. The line work on the sleeves is pretty clean. This is actually a separate piece, so there's no overspray at all on that. 2 separate tones for the strap. We have kind of a brownish color and the gray, so that's good. We have the purple thingy right there. That looks good. The straps or stripes there. Everything looks pretty clean. The boots look well done, and then of course we already talked about the faces, which look really good. So paintwork is good. Sculpt work is on point. And here comes the cat. So I'm gonna cut the video and I'll be right back. Okay, I've dealt with the cat, so let's take a look at the articulation. We have a joint for the hair here. It's your standard, let's just pull it out and show you type of joint. So, ball peg or ball hinge with a ball at one end and a peg at the other. So you can pretty much get this hair wherever you want. Limited, of course, a little bit by this hair up here, but it's pretty soft, so it shouldn't really affect it too much. You can rotate it around. Due to this sculpt having that curved part at the part where it connects up here, it will limit it some, but the joint itself is technically able to go anywhere you want. For the head, we have a straight peg going into the head and then a straight peg going down, so those are both swivels, and then we have the hinge here. The neck is fixed, no articulation for the neck. For the head, we have your ball hinge with a ball peg going into the torso and then a peg going straight down here for the bicep. Standard hinge for the elbow, both ends will swivel. Standard ball hinge for the wrist. The torso, it feels like it's on a double ball peg. I can't quite tell, and I don't want to pull it apart to see, but this is a soft piece, so it'll flex when you bend it down, so that's pretty good. Both parts of the coat are on the same hinge as the elbow, so it'll swivel at the top and bottom and have the hinge. The hips are on standard ball pegs with the ball peg going up inside the torso, but it doesn't have that much range of motion due to the way it's sculpted for these hinges. So it's a little bit more limited than some, but you can still get the legs pretty far up there. You can see the ball joint there. I did just pop it off, but you can get them up there as long as you're careful. Then you have the socket in here, and that'll swivel. You also have a thigh swivel above that strap, standard knee hinge, and then you have the standard ankle hinge. And this is technically a separate piece, so that'll move around, and you can give them an ankle rocker by rotating that if you want to. So it's really a pretty decent batch of articulation. It's just the hips are a little bit more limited due to the articulation for the coat, but you can still get them up there pretty far if you turn them sideways a little bit, and then just use the thigh swivel to straighten the leg out. And you should be able to have pretty much no trouble posing this guy. Like I said, it's really just that one area in the hips where it's a little bit more limited, but everything else is pretty good. I like it. It's not my favorite design for Kirito, but we're going to be getting the Alfheim online figures eventually, it looks like, so that's a good thing. So there it is. You can get this guy at Big Bad Toy Store, so click the link in the description below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.